What is going on, guys? Jesse 504 here, bringing you my APA Little Cup Wi-Fi Season 5, I believe, draft analysis. This time we're going to be uploading it for the whole season through. Yeah, okay. So, Little Cup is back. It was like the first little bit of Wi-Fi that I ever uploaded, but I hope that now it'll be a little more quality. But without further ado, let me just quickly explain. Your and Arbor Shelmets, yes, we devolved for the Little Cup theme, are playing in the APA Little Cup Wi-Fi, standard Wi-Fi Little Cup, I guess. So it's Galler decks, of course. It has a tier draft system, 1 tier 1, 2 tier 2s, 2 tier 3s, a tier 4, 4 free picks that amount to 200 points. Tier 1 is 80, tier 2 is 60, tier 3 is 40, and tier 4 is 20. That is pretty standard. Aside from that, we are not playing on the 10-minute chess timer, which is interesting, just because we now have the 20-minute timer, so a little bit of sort of like timer play is cut out, but I'm sure if I have the option, like if both people have the chess timer available, I'm pretty sure it's not like banned or anything, so we might play some games on chess timer, but yeah, you see, our round 1 pick is none other than the Vulpix. Vulpix is a fantastic mon, basically just setting the sun for itself and for any other sun mons that I want to pick, along with just clicking big weather balls, or fire type, or fire blast, or overheat, or flamethrower. Really can viably just run 4 fire moves. It also has energy ball for bulky waters, and it gets some random, I believe it gets like Shadow Ball and Extra Sensory, which are interesting potential coverage moves, although oftentimes, unless it's a 4 times weakness, you just click the fire move and it'll be doing more damage unless it's a resisted hit. And even still, Overheat probably does more than a neutral coverage move. It also has access to a little bit of utility in Memento. But yeah, that is really what Vulpix does, and it also lets me effectively draft 1 round early for the rest of the draft, because now I don't have to worry about my second tier 1 until the last round, and you guys will see what that is at the very end when we get to go over the full team. But yeah, round 2, I think I reached a little bit, took him on a little too early, but frankly I really enjoy it, and I didn't think it would come back to me. It's very strong, and it hits the same speed tier as Vulpix, which is 17, which is pretty good in Little Cup. It's like, that's where you can start like calling it a fast-ish mon, and the mon that I'm talking about is right here, Arkan. Arkan is fantastic. It has now access to dual wing beat thanks to just being reintroduced, which means lots of damage from that. Don't have to worry about acrobatics as a flying stab anymore, which is really nice, although it can run berry juice to heal itself back up, in which case acro starts to become strong. But the multi-hit moves in Little Cup, pretty nice. It also has access to Rock Blast for those, and it gets good coverage in Earthquake. It gets Aqua Tail, it gets Heat Wave, it can run Mixed because it also has a very good special attack. Just gotta keep in mind that defeatist ability and how people will try to play around this mon well. But I really like it as like an agility sweeper or an early game breaker with like a scarf or a life orb. I think that it just does really well. It has a very high base stat total for Little Cup, although it does have the defeatist ability. It's still just really strong. It's much better in Little Cup than Archeops is in Standard. I also look at the little guy, and you can't tell me that he is bad. Yeah, and I think it complements Vulpix very nicely, just breaking some like fires, and like it doesn't really break waters that well, but it breaks fires pretty well for Vulpix, which is nice. And yeah, and I feel like the next, or like these first 3 months synergize super well in Little Cup, and my second tier 2 is none other than Frillish. I think Frillish is a fantastic mon. Tier 2, I think it's one of the better tier 2s. I'm very happy that it lasted to me. Helps with a lot of the fighting spam in Little Cup. It is knockoff weak, which is a little bit of an issue, although Colbur Berry is pretty nice to run. It can sometimes some weeks pull off the Scarf Water Spout set, which is really cool. When it works, it just claims kills, and it's really good at catching people off guard. Additionally, it can do just very consistent high amounts of damage, as well as just sponging damage with access to Recover or Strength Sap, depending on the matchup. But yeah, this mon is just very consistent as a tier 2 like bulky water that can also just be very offensive in Little Cup, because it does have recovery, which is nice. It can like sort of wall some stuff, but it's not the greatest, just because Little Cup is so offensive that I feel like just drafting this mon like more as an offensive defensive pivot mon is very cool. It just does so much for the team. I really like it. I think it also is just great for Vulpix, really helping to take on a lot of mons that want to beat Vulpix. But yeah, up next, we decided to keep going down the tier list into our tier 3 pick, which is, in my opinion, either the best or the second best tier 3 in Belltoy. Belltoy is fantastic, especially in tier 3. I saw this as very good value for a pick, especially considering Sandshrew was in tier 2, and they're often like pretty close together mons on like points tier lists. So I was like, tier 3 Belltoy, kind of want to snatch this up. Has access to spin, has access to rocks, has great coverage in like Ice Beam, Scorching Sand, Psychic, even Earth Power if I want a little more power. Has Shadow Ball. It's very nice, very good utility. It doesn't have like the highest stats anywhere, but it can run bulky with like Eviolite or Berry Juice. And some weeks it can manage to go offensive if it gets like a Rapid Spin or like a Calm Mind off, and then it can start to break. The one thing that it wishes it has is like a little bit of reliable recovery, because it has to like really it is a very consistent user of Berry Juice. And so now we kind of have two mons that really like the Berry Juice and Arkan and Belltoy. Frill is just kind of the Eviolite mon that we have right now, because we just got to keep in mind that there is a 2 item clause in Little Cup, so that not everyone is just spamming Berry Juice and Eviolite. Obviously, not all mons, but like not all mons want Berry Juice, Eviolite, but generally like the 4 most common items in Little Cup: Berry Juice, Eviolite, Choice Scarf, Life Orb. Those are just most consistent items that you see a lot of widespread usage on. It kind of restricts building, but then you can switch up your items and stuff, and it catches some people off guard. So I really like generally having those 4 items as like a safety net, but then when you want to tack on some more items, I think that it's really can catch people off guard just because they're so prepped for those 4 items most commonly. Up next, I decided to use my first free pick and grab Minchino from tier 2. This mon is very good. It has good offensive coverage. It kind of plays like Minchino. It's got 18 speed tier, which is pretty nice for the team. It can hit very hard with all its multi-hit moves. Great Scarfer, great user of the Life Orb. It also has access to Triple Axle now, which is very nice. So it just hits very hard while being quick. It doesn't hit like crazy hard in the grand scheme of things, but it just hits 5 times on a lot of its moves, which helps out. It has access to Knockoff and U-Turn. Knockoff is one of the best best moves in Little Cup, because it just hits so many things for so hard, and removing items is very nice, because items play a much larger role in Little Cup, like removing a Berry Juice or removing a Eviolite is huge. Removing Life Orb can cripple things damage outputs, and then obviously Scarf can ruin things speed tiers. So yeah, I just really like Minchino. I think it's a fantastic, good, consistent tier 2 mon. I would have preferred potentially like Baneri or Meowth. Obviously, I did not think I would get Meowth back. It went like mid-round 2. But like Baneri, I think almost made it to me. I really wanted to try it, but just because it has 1 higher point of speed. But still, 18 speed is a fine top end, and so Minchino, it's not going to be letting anyone down, I don't think. But yeah, let's go on to our next tier 3 pick, which is Galarian Meowth. It is a great Choice Scarfer, although it has base 14 speed, so after it's holding a Choice Scarf, it can now outrun any single mon that isn't also running Choice Scarf, because it'll hit 21, and the highest speed tier in Little Cup is 20, being held by Diglett and Elekid. So Galar Meowth is pretty good at just hitting things hard and very quickly. Tough Claws is a great ability. It has access to U-Turn and a very deep coverage move pool, surprisingly. So I really like Galar Meowth. I think it can do a lot of good for me. This mon is surprisingly hard, hits fast, and it's a nice steel type to potentially ward off some dragon type offense. Although it's more offensive, so might have to be a little bit cautious with that. Although I think Galar Meowth is fantastic. Up next, I get to, I believe, take my first tier 4 mon. Tier 4 has really nothing in it. It's quite disappointing how bad they are, but they're tier 4s for a reason. They're not good. They maybe come to 1 or 2 games. A couple of them come to 3. And for our first tier 4, I decided to go with nidoran male. Access to hustle might let it hit something for a little bit of damage, and then it can hit 15 speed, which is fine with a choice scarf, so it can do pretty well. Although I really don't see myself bringing nidoran male unless they're like very, very weak to poison types and they don't have like a good steal or something. I don't see nidoran male coming, to be honest. Although it might provide something niche in 1 or 2 weeks. We will have to wait and see. But I don't really think there's too much to go over for nidoran male, other than I only grabbed it so early because I already know my second tier 1, and then the person, because this was right before the wheel, and the person in the wheel I would not think would take a second tier 3, or not a second tier 3, but like a third or fourth tier 3, I believe, for them at this point in the draft. So I was like, I'll take my nidoran male right now and then get my final tier 3 before the wheel picks again. And so we went ahead and grabbed togepi. Togepi, you might think of, hey, this mon is very, very weak, and with an Eviolite it's actually not that bad. It has access to soft boil to heal itself, which is really nice for it. It also has a great move pool, surprisingly, and it's very bulky with the Eviolite, and it can recover on stuff. It's very good at staving off something like the offensive dark types, although it doesn't like to be knocked off. But some mons, some darks don't even get knocked off, especially in Little Cup. It's not as distributed as you might think. So togepi is actually quite a good wall, and it can even sometimes occasionally run a calm mindset to some success depending on matchup, although those are very rare to work. I just like togepi as like a little bulky wall. I really trust it this season as an Eviolite mon, considering that any mon can really take an Eviolite and like it, but I think togepi is like a very good consistent user of an Eviolite, and is very good at checking some scary threats. But yeah, our final tier 4 mon, I again don't envision coming to lots of games, but it is Winpod. You might see Winpod and be like, hey, isn't this mon really weak? And yes, it is, but it is 18 base speed and has access to spikes, so that's really all it needs to do, is put up some spikes and get out of there. I might bring it against some teams where I'm afraid of like a sash mon and I don't respect their removal, so I was like, Winpod, go set spikes. But like against some stash or sturdy mons, I think Winpod is fantastic. Other than that, kind of ass. But yeah, now our final free pick. If you know anything about Little Cup, you'd known this since we picked Vulpix round 1. It is none other than Bulbasaur. Taking Vulpix without Bulbasaur and taking Bulbasaur without Vulpix is a throw. So I was very, very able to just wait on this until the last round. Fantastic Sunsweeper does not have access to Earth Power because this is just a little Bulbasaur, but it has access to a lot of other moves, particularly Grass Stab, Poison Stab, Weather Ball. Fast Sleep Powder in the sun is very nice as well, and then it also has access to Growth if it wants to sweep, if I'm running like a Heat Rock Vulpix, for example. But I really just think that Fast Sleep Powder is very nice, because sometimes you don't even need the Growth boost, it'll just be hitting that hard with a Life Orb, or taking hits very well with an Eviolite, or even just like a Berry Juice, healing it back up to full, letting it come in the sun again. But this is our team for Little Cup Wi-Fi, so go ahead and let me know in the comments down below what you think of the team. I think it's a very, very fun, very exciting team, and I'm excited to see how it does. I think it'll bring me a little more success than last time on Little Cup Wi-Fi. But there's also a ton of fantastic coaches on Little Cup Wi-Fi this season, and I know a good chunk of them are either streaming their battles to Twitch or uploading. If there is a paste bin for links, I will be sure to link it down in the description. Aside from that, if my opponent is uploading, I'll be sure to link their channel in the description the week that we play them. But yeah, without further ado, just let me know what you guys think of my draft in the comments down below. Please subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated, and leave a like if you enjoyed. And with all that being said, until next time, Jesse504 out. Peace.